If your engine fails before its time, don't blame bad luck. The real culprit is often a single habit you repeat every morning without thinking. It's a tiny detail, but over the years it grinds away at the heart of your car, shortening its life and setting you up for breakdowns that feel sudden but were building all along. The truth is, cars don't die randomly. They're slowly killed by overlooked mistakes. And once you understand this one silent habit, you'll see how easy it is to flip the script. Fix it, and you might just double or even triple the lifespan of your car, joining the rare drivers whose odometers spin past 500,000 miles without flinching. Secret number 1. The inspection that makes cars last forever. Japan's biggest secret isn't some magic fuel or hidden part. It's shaken, the brutal inspection that every car must face. After 3 years on the road, and then every 2 years after that, inspectors crawl over every inch of your vehicle. A small oil leak? Fail. Tires worn unevenly? Fail. Even a squeaky hinge or loose part can send you home with a repair bill. Most drivers in other countries wait for things to break. In Japan, the system forces you to fix problems before they become disasters. That's why their cars rack up insane mileage while ours tap out early. What this inspection really does is train owners. Instead of running their car into the ground, they change fluids early, replace belts on schedule, and keep rust and corrosion under control. Over time, these habits hardwire reliability into the car itself. It's not luck that Japanese cars hit 500,000 miles. It's discipline baked into routine. And while you might never face a shaken test, you can copy the mindset. Stay ahead of problems instead of waiting for them. And your car won't just last, it'll fight to stay alive. But even this discipline won't save you from the most dangerous habit of all: what you do to your engine every morning when it's still ice cold. Secret number 2. Cold starts that kill engines. Most people don't realize the first 60 seconds after turning the key decide how long their engine will live. When you fire up a cold engine and stomp on the gas, the oil hasn't had time to reach the bearings, piston rings and camshaft. That means raw metal grinds on metal, creating microscopic scars that build into catastrophic damage. Revving hard on a cold start is one of the fastest ways to shave years off an engine's life. The Japanese secret is simple: warm up progressively. In winter, let the car idle for about 30 seconds before moving. In summer, you can roll off immediately, but keep revs under 2,500 for the first few miles. Gentle driving allows the oil to fully coat critical parts, and the metal to expand evenly with heat. This tiny routine alone can triple engine life. Skip it, and you'll be dealing with piston scuffing, seized bearings, or even a full rebuild. But protecting the engine is only the beginning. The next step is making sure every fluid and filter in your car works on your schedule, not the manufacturer's. Secret number 3. Fluids and filters on your schedule, not theirs. One of the biggest traps car owners fall into is following the manufacturer's ideal schedule. Those long intervals, 10,000 miles for oil, 40,000 for filters, are written for perfect conditions. But real life isn't perfect. Short trips that never heat the engine, stop-and-go traffic, dust, extreme heat, or bitter cold all break fluids down far faster than the manual admits. That's why in Japan, owners inspect and change based on use, not just mileage. Oil gets swapped early, brake fluid and coolant are checked seasonally, and filters are replaced as soon as they show dirt, not when a book says so. The logic is simple. A $20 filter or a $50 fluid change can prevent thousands in repairs. Dirty engine oil destroys bearings, clogged fuel filters overwork the pump, and dark brake fluid can corrode lines until they burst. Japanese drivers treat these checks as routine, not optional. Once a month, pop the hood, pull the dipstick and glance at the fluid levels and color. 5 minutes can prevent 90% of major breakdowns. And when every fluid is fresh, you've built a safety net for your engine. But keeping the oil clean won't matter if the fuel itself is quietly poisoning your system. That's where the next secret comes in. Secret number 4. Fuel that cleans while you drive. Most drivers think all gasoline is the same, but that belief quietly kills engines. Standard pump gas barely meets minimum requirements, and over time it leaves carbon coating your intake valves, injectors and piston crowns. Those deposits choke airflow, ruin fuel atomization, and force your engine to run hot and inefficient. The result? Poor mileage, loss of power, and expensive cleanings that can run into the thousands. The Japanese approach is simple: feed the engine fuel that does the cleaning for you. Top-tier gasoline contains extra detergents proven to leave 19 times fewer deposits than regular gas. Pair that with periodic injector cleaning or a trusted additive, and you stop carbon buildup before it snowballs. Drivers who ignore this end up paying for clogged injectors, melted pistons, or failing catalytic converters, issues that can kill a car long before the odometer hits 200,000. Clean fuel isn't a luxury. It's an investment in an engine that keeps pulling strong long after others quit. And while fuel keeps the fire clean, the next secret protects the silent workhorses spinning under your hood: belts, brakes, and tires. Secret number 5. Belts, brakes, and rolling gear engines don't scream for help until it's too late. Take your belts, for example. A worn serpentine belt doesn't just squeal. It runs your alternator, water pump, and power steering. If it snaps, your car overheats. Your steering locks up, and your battery drains dry. Timing belts are even worse when they break. Pistons smash into valves, often totaling the engine in a single second. That's why Japanese maintenance culture swaps belts and tensioners before they fail. Spending hundreds today is far cheaper than rebuilding an engine tomorrow. The same logic applies to brakes and tires. Brake fluid quietly absorbs moisture, corroding lines and weakening pedal feel until a stop turns into a skid. That's why flushing every year or two is non-negotiable. Tires are no safer. Underinflated rubber is behind thousands of crashes every year. Yet most drivers never check PSI properly. The sticker inside your door frame is the truth, not the number on the tire sidewall. Rotate them, align them, and they'll protect both your wallet and your life. Belts, brakes, and tires might not sound exciting, but they're the guardians of everything else. Ignore them and you'll never see high mileage. But even with perfect parts, one silent killer still claims more engines than all the rest: heat. Secret number 6. The silent killer: heat engines don't die of old age. They die of heat. Studies show up to half of catastrophic engine failures are linked to cooling system neglect. The combustion chamber reaches over 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit, and if coolant hoses or the water pump can't keep up, that heat warps heads, blows gaskets, and cracks blocks. Once that happens, the repair bill isn't just painful, it's often more than the car is worth. The Japanese mindset treats the cooling system like a life support machine. Coolant levels and color get checked monthly, hoses are inspected for cracks, and the radiator cap isn't ignored. It's swapped if rust or wear shows. Flushing the coolant on schedule keeps corrosion from eating passages inside the engine. Even the smell of maple syrup under the hood is a red flag, hinting at leaks before they explode into a full failure. Keeping the cooling loop pristine is one of the cheapest, smartest habits to extend an engine's life. But once heat is under control, there's another hidden cost draining your wallet: your own driving habits. Secret number 7. Driving habits that decide your car's future. You might think the way you drive doesn't matter as long as the car still runs, but the numbers tell a different story. Government data shows aggressive driving, hard launches, panic stops, sharp cornering can cut fuel economy by up to 40% and double wear on brakes, tires, and suspension. Every harsh stop grinds down pads and rotors. Every slam of the throttle pushes heat into the engine oil, breaking it down faster and creating sludge. Over time, that abuse silently strips years off your car's lifespan. The Japanese secret: smooth, consistent inputs. Keep revs steady, brake progressively, and avoid sudden RPM spikes, especially when the engine is cold. This doesn't mean you have to crawl down the road forever. In fact, the occasional strong highway run, known as an Italian tune-up, can actually clear out carbon buildup. The trick is balance. Avoid the daily abuse that burns money and life out of your car. Master this discipline, and your driving stops being the enemy of longevity. It becomes the reason your odometer keeps climbing. But smooth driving is only part of the puzzle. To reach true million-mile status, you need to think long-term, right down to the parts and protection you choose. Secret number 8. The million-mile mindset. Most drivers cut corners on the very thing that keeps their car alive: parts. Cheaper aftermarket replacements look tempting, but many wear out faster, fit poorly, or even damage surrounding components. That's why Japanese owners lean heavily on OEM parts, or at the very least reputable aftermarket brands with proven track records. Spending a little more upfront means fewer failures, fewer breakdowns, and fewer times you're stranded on the side of the road. It's not just about fixing what's broken, it's about building reliability into every replacement. The other overlooked killer is rust. Salted winter roads and coastal air eat steel alive, and once corrosion spreads to suspension mounts or frame rails, the car is finished no matter how perfect the engine is. The solution is prevention, undercoating every few years, rinsing the undercarriage after winter driving, and keeping the car sheltered whenever possible. Combine rust protection with proactive maintenance, and you've built the ultimate million-mile machine. The secret isn't luck, it's discipline. Adopt the mindset, stay ahead of problems, and your car won't just reach milestones, it'll refuse to quit. Secret number 9, general inspections that catch what you miss. Even the most disciplined drivers overlook the little things until they snowball into big repairs. That's why Japanese owners follow the habit of scheduled inspections, almost like mini shaken tests at home. Every 6,000 miles, or at least once a year, they do a full sweep: belts for cracks, hoses for leaks, brake pad thickness, tire tread depth, and fluid levels. For cars older than 8 years, the interval is cut in half, every 6 months, because aging components hide failures until it's too late. The cost? A few hours in the driveway, or a couple $100s with a trusted mechanic. The payoff? Thousands saved on early transmission replacements, blown engines, or dangerous tire failures. Think of it as preventative surgery for your car, catching problems when they're tiny scars instead of letting them grow into life-threatening wounds. If you've ever been blindsided by a repair bill, this habit guarantees you won't be again. And once inspections become second nature, you're no longer reacting to problems. You're staying 10 steps ahead of them. Secret number 10. Belts and tensioners don't wait to break. Most drivers follow the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But that's the fastest way to destroy an engine. Your serpentine belt controls the alternator, AC compressor, power steering pump, and water pump. If it snaps, your car overheats, your steering locks, and your battery drains within minutes. Timing belts are even worse. One break and pistons slam into valves, causing instant catastrophic damage that can total an engine on the spot. That's why Japanese owners treat belts as consumables, not permanent parts. Serpentine belts should be inspected every 30,000 miles and replaced around 50,000. Timing belts and tensioners are swapped well before the manufacturer's maximum limit, usually between 60,000 and 90,000 miles, or every 5-7 years. Yes, it's an expensive service, but nothing compared to the $5,000, $10,000 price tag of an engine rebuild. Preventive belt replacement isn't paranoia, it's insurance. And while belts keep your engine alive, the next secret keeps you safe from the part of your car most likely to cause an accident: the tires. Secret number 11. Tire checks that save lives. Tires are the only part of your car that actually touch the road, yet they're the most neglected. Underinflated tires aren't just bad for fuel economy, they're the leading cause of over 11,000 crashes and hundreds of deaths every year. The scary part: most drivers think checking the number on the tire's sidewall is enough. But that's the maximum pressure, not the recommended one. The correct PSI is on the sticker inside your driver's door frame, and ignoring it means your tires wear unevenly, grip poorly, and fail when you need them most. The Japanese habit is simple but strict: check PSI monthly, adjust for temperature changes, rotate tires every 5,000 to 7,000 miles, and align them at the first sign of pulling or uneven tread. Seasonal swaps are just as important. Summer rubber in the snow or winter tires in the heat can cut stopping distances in half. Tires might not be glamorous, but they protect your suspension, save fuel, and keep your warranty intact. Treat them right, and they'll carry you safely toward that million-mile goal. But even perfect tires can't save you from the biggest killer of engines: the relentless heat building under the hood. Secret number 12. Cooling system care that stops silent killers. Almost half of catastrophic engine failures are tied to one overlooked system: the cooling loop. Your radiator, water pump, thermostat, and hoses are the only defense against combustion temperatures that soar past 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. If coolant can't circulate properly, metal parts expand unevenly, head gaskets blow, and engine blocks crack. The worst part, many of these failures give little warning before the damage is done. Japanese owners never gamble here. They check coolant levels monthly, flush the system every 30,000 miles, and replace hoses at the first sign of swelling or cracks. Even the radiator cap matters. If it's corroded or can't hold pressure, the whole system collapses. A sweet smell in the air, or drops of coolant on the ground aren't minor leaks. They're red flags that a meltdown is coming. By treating the cooling system as life support, you avoid the single most expensive type of failure an engine can face. But protecting the engine from heat is only half the story. The next secret shields it from the electricity that powers everything. Secret number 13. Battery terminals that decide if your car starts tomorrow. Pop the hood of almost any aging car, and you'll see it. The whitish-green powder crusting over the battery terminals. Most people ignore it, but in Japan, that alone can fail a shaken inspection. Why? Because corrosion strangles your electrical system. A weak connection means your alternator can't recharge properly. Your starter struggles, and sensors across the engine misfire. Leave it too long, and you're suddenly shopping for a new battery, alternator and starter. An easy $1,000 plus hit. The fix is so simple it's almost embarrassing. Disconnect the terminals. Scrub them with a baking soda and water mix. Rinsed and dry. Then add a thin coat of grease or Vaseline to block future corrosion. Done right, this 5-minute job saves years of headaches and keeps every electronic system healthy. Japanese owners treat it as routine, not repair. Because if your car can't deliver clean, steady power, everything else, ignition, fuel injection, sensors fails in line. And while electricity keeps your car alive, the next secret protects the mechanical backbone that ties the whole engine together, your belts and pulleys. Secret number 14. Preventive belt and pulley replacement. Belts might be small, but when they fail, the damage is massive. Your serpentine belt drives everything from the alternator to the water pump. If it slips or snaps, your car overheats, the battery drains, and you lose steering assist in seconds. Timing belts are even more unforgiving. If they break, pistons slam into valves, often destroying the entire engine instantly. And while most drivers wait for squeals, cracks or visible wear, Japanese owners don't take that chance. The secret is preventive replacement. Inspect every 30,000 miles. Replace serpentine belts around 50,000, and timing belts between 60,000 and 90,000 miles, or sooner if the manufacturer recommends it. Tensioners and pulleys wear out too, and if they fail, even a brand new belt won't save you. Yes, it's an expensive service, but it's insurance against a $5,000 rebuild or a totaled engine. Belts and pulleys are the spine of the engine bay. Treat them as disposable, not permanent. And once they're secured, you're ready to tackle another silent killer that hides in plain sight: your driving habits on the road. Secret number 15. Smooth driving saves more than fuel engines. Aren't destroyed on the highway. They're destroyed by habits. Hard launches, panic braking, and rapid cornering don't just waste gas. They wear down every moving part of your car. Harsh driving overheats the engine oil, breaks it down faster, leaves behind sludge that suffocates the motor. Brake pads and rotors vanish in half the time. Tires wear unevenly and blow out when you least expect it. Even suspension parts like struts and ball joints get battered until they fail. What feels like fun, driving quietly cuts your car's lifespan by 20 to 40%. The Japanese mindset is the opposite. Drive smooth and consistent. That doesn't mean crawling on the freeway. It means progressive acceleration, gentle braking, and avoiding sudden RPM spikes, especially when the engine is cold. The bonus: your car runs cleaner, lasts longer, and your fuel economy improves by hundreds of dollars a year. Even insurers know this. Drivers with harsh habits spend nearly a third more on repairs and maintenance. In short, the way you treat the gas and brake pedal decides whether your car dies at 150,000 miles or pushes past 500,000. And once you master your driving style, The next secret takes things even further, with inspections that catch problems before they spiral out of control. Secret number 16. General inspections. Every 6,000 miles, most drivers wait for a warning light or a strange noise before they check their car. By then, the damage is already done. In Japan, the shaken inspection forces owners to think differently. Many do their own mini shaken, every 6,000 miles, or at least once a year. This isn't just a quick oil dipstick check. It's a full sweep: belts for cracks, hoses for leaks, fluid levels and color, brake pad thickness, tire tread depth, and even small details like wiper condition. For cars over 8 years old, that interval drops to every 6 months, because aging parts fail faster and hide problems deeper. Think of it as preventive surgery. Spending a couple of hours in the driveway, or a few $100s with a trusted mechanic, catches issues before they snowball into thousands in repairs. A tiny coolant seep, a thinning brake pad, or an early belt crack can all be fixed cheaply when caught on time. Ignore them, and you're suddenly staring at a blown transmission, warped rotors, or an overheated engine. Japanese owners don't gamble with surprise failures, and neither should you. With consistent inspections, your car stops aging in silence. It becomes predictable. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the one habit that protects everything else from collapsing: rust prevention. Secret number 17. Rust prevention. The final barrier: engines can be babied, fluids replaced, and belts swapped on schedule, but none of it matters if rust takes over. Corrosion is the silent killer that destroys even the healthiest cars. Road salt, coastal air, and wet winters eat steel alive, chewing through suspension mounts, brake lines and frame rails until the car becomes unsafe, long before the engine gives up. Once rust spreads deep into structural points, no amount of mechanical care can save the vehicle. The Japanese secret is aggressive prevention. Undercarriages get rinsed after every salty drive, undercoating is reapplied every 2 years, and cars are stored in garages whenever possible. Even small patches of surface rust are sanded and sealed before they grow. That discipline protects the car's skeleton, ensuring that the engine, transmission and suspension can actually reach their full potential. Ignore rust, and your car dies early. No matter how perfect the maintenance, control it, and you unlock the final piece of the million-mile puzzle. Because in the end, it's not one magic trick that keeps cars alive. It's 17 small habits stacked together into a lifestyle of relentless care. Reaching 1,000,000 miles isn't about luck, and it isn't about buying the perfect car. It's about discipline. From warming up gently to flushing fluids early, from swapping belts before they break to stopping rust before it spreads, every one of these 17 secrets adds a layer of protection. Alone, they're small habits. Together they create a system that makes your car practically indestructible. Most people let their vehicles die young because they wait for problems to appear. But if you adopt even a handful of these habits, your car won't just survive, it will thrive. And that's the real lesson from Japan. Treat every mile as an investment, and your car will pay you back in years of service, safety, and savings.